welcome to Weapons of Aim Destruction Podcast, episode 235, which can be found at WMDpodcast.com/235. David, boy, was that State of the Union a train wreck this week. Initial thoughts.
Sorry. Oh, God damn it, Colbert. Come back to the good side. We have candy. Anyway, yeah, it was almost like what did it remind me of? What did it remind me of? It reminded me of a bunch of fucking children. That's what it looked like. It looked like a bunch of children. It looked like a bunch of people that were acting like they'd rather be anywhere else but here. And then it looked like a bunch of people that were trying to make it like the people that stayed at the party too long. Like, yeah, this is great. Everything's going wonderful for us. It's like you're trying too hard on that side and you're trying too hard on that side. Chill the fuck out. This is a country. It's not a gymnasium, all right? Let's make this thing work.
Yeah,
anyway.
Very, very high school cliquish. Very, it's like that old adage, all people, it doesn't matter what profession is, how high-minded or high ideal they think they are. Nobody, continues aging emotionally past high school. They form their cliques. They have the cool kids group, the out kids group, and the cool mean girls and the dorks. And it's just life it just continues in that pattern on and on until we all die and fall away.
Fuck.
But
if you loved high school, you're going to love life. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So, that's what we're going to get into this week. We're going to do a little bit of the pre-State of the Union, this now infamous. I think that the number capped out at 22. It may have added to it because when I first saw it earlier in the day on Tuesday before the State of the Union, it was only 3 senators. But by the end of the day, it was up to 22. And I don't know if more joined in on all the fun, but, the now infamous, 22 senators that couldn't even be bothered to write their own little script to talk into their TikToks. We'll start with that, and then we'll, just give some generalized thoughts and discussion on what David and I took away from the State of the Union. And we'll send you on your way to 236, which we have a little surprise for you at the end of 235. So stick around and watch for the whole thing, and we'll let you know when and where you can get 236. And surprise, surprise, it won't be waiting an entire week. So, David, first, let's get into that 22 senators clip. This was as embarrassing as you could possibly imagine. If you didn't think that a political party of, and by the way, for a popularity contest, I must say, I don't understand how any of these people ever win anything because they are the most unlikable, cringeworthy, grotesque individuals that, for the most part, you hear even from their staffers or people that are unfortunate enough to spend significant amounts of time around them. Most of these people are not even nice personally. Like, you could get it, right? If they were unappealing in the public eye and then but behind closed doors, like, yeah, he's a pretty stand-up guy or she's a pretty nice lady or no, but it's almost like to a person. The women are all like screeching hags and the men are all like overbearing dicks. And I'm talking about like what the own people behind the scenes that have to be with them all the time, what they say about these people. And it's like, how do these people ever generate enough enthusiasm for anybody to take them seriously, let alone elect them to a position as powerful as the ones they get? I don't get it, but, it's a mystery of the universe we may never understand.
The mystery of the universe that I can't understand is the simple fact that it's kind of a known entity that the Democrats own Silicon Valley and have done so and have had a stranglehold on most of the technology that's come out over the past 20 years. And it just staggers me to this day that they still do shit like this, thinking that it's not going to blow up in their face, thinking that there isn't going to be somebody that's sitting behind a fucking laptop that's going to get each and every one of you that decided that you're going to make the same exact video. Sorry to, spoiler alert, make the same exact video 27,000 times. And you think that they're not going to put it in a montage like they did with you remember that montage that they did with all those like local broadcasts?
Yeah.
About misdis and malinformation? It's like, how many times you got to keep doing the same thing, expecting it not to blow up in your face again? It's like that one statement I heard on a podcast a while ago. It's like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are like two dinosaurs that don't realize that the asteroids already hit the Earth. Like, this shit's over. Like, what you were doing before, you can't do it anymore. Otherwise, you're going to go lower than 31% approval ratings. So, again, you don't have anyone else to blame for this situation but yourselves. And it's baffling to me. Baffling that people don't see it this way.
It is. So we're not going to torture you listeners and viewers by making you watch this entire minute and 23-second thing. It'll be in the show notes if you want to watch it. But it's really just, like David said, a mashup of 22 U.S. senators who start out with a little clip of Trump making some claim from behind the podium. And then to a person, they are reciting from the same script. Again, the minute details they couldn't even be bothered to change, like whether or not they're going to like clip the little microphone on their lapel, or if they're all just going to sit there like the Zoomers are, the Generation Z, do all their stupid little TikToks where they hold their little thing up to their mouth or their little mic. Like, it's because some moron told these 22 senators, or maybe it was an evil genius that convinced these 22 senators, like, go out there and make yourselves look like complete asses. It's going to be super great. Everybody's going to love it. But it's like somebody told them, like, this is what the kids do. They talk on TikTok with the mic up to their mouth. So, like, to a person, all 22 people took the same mannerisms, the same everything, and, not even to mention that the script was line for line. So we're going to play the first just couple minutes so you can get the flavor of it. To you audio only listeners, it'll make more sense if you see the video. So check us out on YouTube and Rumble. But yeah, we're just going to play a couple minutes so you can see kind of what we're saying here.
When I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's
good. You get the point. It's indiscernible. Again, when I saw it, it was only 3 senators. I think it was well, now I'm going to blank on their names. It was Elizabeth Warren. It was the guy from New Jersey, and then somebody else.
But Schumer in there or something? Yeah, there is.
It may have been.
Little shit.
Yeah, I don't remember who. But when it was just 3 of them, it was a lot more discernible to see what they're saying. Obviously, 22 people, it's not. But you get the point, right? 22 people.
They're using cool words like shit and like that's lies and God, that it's such like a ugh.
20
ugh with the side of ugh. Like
22 of the absolutely most offensive to all 5 senses people that you've ever seen in your life were somehow convinced. And again, this also goes to, I'm completely pulling this out of left field, but Jack Mack, who is kind of a barstool sports commentator over on TikTok. And he just, comments on all kinds of interesting little things. And his commentary on the State of the Union was that, what we were told as kids, that these were the most impressive people. And that if you work really hard, maybe one day you can be in government and a politician, blah, blah, blah. And how it's even being peeled away from his, and I would consider him, in the political space, more of like a normie. Right? Somebody that's not really paying too close of attention, but, can kind of see through the bullshit. And he's like, yeah, that was all a lie. These are not impressive people at all. And when 22 of the most powerful people on the planet are convinced that this is a good idea and shamelessly put it out there, I think that's all you need to see.
Well,
open and shut case, Watson.
Open and shut case, Johnson. No, I mean, it gives me vibes, which is always what comes from the left, that supposedly, has all the entertainers and all the Hollywood and all that shit. How often they just come off as like, you remember when you were in elementary school, Dan?
Vaguely.
And then we'd have these big assemblies, and then every now and again it was like one of those, drugs aren't cool. Like, I'm just an older kid, just like you, and I look like the people that you aspire to be. So I'm going to tell you not to do drugs because I'm a cool kid like you. Like those after-school special kind of shits when you're sitting there going, you. I don't
Yeah.
want to be you. I know why you're in this acting troupe at the age of fucking 14. It's because you don't have better shit to do on a Saturday, because you don't do drugs with your friends, you dipshit. So get out there and do some drugs unless you want to be a
loser. Your
loser.
hard drives checked.
Right, exactly. It's like, you're driving me right to the thing I shouldn't be driven to. You're doing the opposite thing. It always seems like that's how it works out for these guys. Whenever they think that they're being cool and hip and they're with it. And by the way, you fuckheads, didn't you just try to get rid of that app? Not, what is it, April? Is it April yet? It's March still, right?
Yeah, it's March.
Okay,
yeah.
it's 3 months ago. 3 months ago, you guys tried to get rid of the app that now you're trying to sway voters to. Like, make it make sense, Dane. That's all I'm asking. Yeah. Like, stop coming out with super cringe, awkward shit on platforms that you try to take away from us, but then you realize that, oh, we can use this too. We just can't control what's said on it because this isn't Twitter. Anyway, that's my big mishbuka.
So I don't remember if those were recorded, in the days leading up to the State of the Union, but I remember I started seeing them coming out Tuesday morning. So that's what we led into Tuesday night State of the Union with. And like I said, not impressive people. So with that being said, David, did it get any better during the State of the Union itself? Did these people, kind of redeem themselves later that night and really come together and show America that, our leadership is in good hands? Is that that's a rhetorical question.
Dane, I don't know if you've been reading this book called America as We Live in It Now, but it never seems to go that way. It always goes like, you guys can't get any dumber, right? And then they go and do something like, oh, I don't know. Okay, we can't make noises, so we're going to hold up paddles. Oh, you stalwart, brazen. Oh, how did you have the courage to hold up that paddle so hard? Was it heavy? Was it heavy? Was the burden of holding up all that democracy in front of Trump, was that hard for you to do? What about you, Mr. Green? Was it hard for you to make an ass out of yourself and scream at somebody and have to be removed? Because it all looks so staged. Again, nothing felt
It's performative.
real.
It always is.
It's all performative up there. It's like they're forgetting that, hey guys, this isn't the latest episode of The Bachelor. This isn't Real Housewives of whatever fucking city. This is, you guys are supposed to be it. You guys are supposed to be the best and the brightest, like Jack Mack said. And continually, you prove that, I wouldn't even trust you to babysit my kid, let alone run my fucking country. So what's going on here? That's all I'm asking. But I'm sure it'll get better down the road as things get more and more accelerated.
Yeah, very, very deeply unimpressive people. But, just the general tone and tenor of the entire grouping that was there, again, it doesn't inspire confidence from the American people. Not only for the, the high school type level behavior and stuff like that, but, it really gets kind of grotesque when you consider the young man that I think he was 13, the boy that, has brain
11,
cancer,
13,
but he wanted to be
there.
a Secret Service agent. And so, Trump went through the process of, calling him out and saying brave young boy and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to make you an honorary Secret Service agent. And they could not even bother to bring themselves to clap for that. It's like, I get it. Okay. You all won this popularity contest. Again, I'll never figure out how you did it. But now you have this position that based on a, $175 to $200 some odd plus $1,000 a year salary, you're somehow able to amass, millions and millions of dollars over the period of just a few years. So you got a really good thing going for you. And the only thing you have to do is play WWE. You got to pretend that you hate the other side, that you're really taking it to the mat against the other side, and you don't want to like or support anything they say. But could you set that aside for 5 seconds to stand up and clap for a kid that's fighting brain cancer? 5 seconds? I mean, is that too much is there no bar low enough that you won't dupe under? That's my question. Just broadly speaking, yes, it was the Democrats this time, but it's really for all politicians. It's with precious few exceptions like Thomas Massey. Why? What part of making millions and millions of dollars off a couple $100,000 salary requires you to be such a disgusting human being? That's what I don't understand. Those two things aren't connected. It doesn't seem like one requires the other. That's all.
You know what Trump did? Where I will admit that he fucked up one part of his whole State of the Union. He missed a chance right there to say, at 11 years old, already better than that little hobbit that couldn't put her gun back to let that guy rifle off 6 shots at me and fucking... I mean, the kid's going through brain cancer and he's still a better candidate than whatever the fuck that little troglodyte was that couldn't even reholster her weapon or protect the president.
The Secret Service agent.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like, hey, listen. And again, the standards of the Secret Service dropped under the Democratic Party too. So that's on you too. If he's a better candidate than what you were hiring, whatever. So he missed a great time to or a great moment to take another pot shot at him. But and again, kind of on him too. Like he used a couple of things like he just broke it. There's nothing I can say that's gonna make you people like me, is there? I know. It's like, hey, just say what it is. But at the end of the day,
referring to Elizabeth Warren as Pocahontas during his speech,
it's like,
you gotta love it.
Hey, you did that to yourself, by the way. Don't act like you didn't. Don't act like you're not impressed.
What is she? 1,027th Cherokee?
118th.
No. It was 1,027th.
I heard it was 118th. Oh,
no, 1,027th. I think was the number.
That counts, Bubba. It's in there somewhere. God damn it.
Yeah.
I had a feather in my hair at one point. By God.
So. And you had texted me during the State of the Union that it looked like, the optics were just so bad for the Democrats in terms of what they refused to cheer for and stand up for and all that kind of stuff.
They didn't cheer for a damn thing. It looked like they were rooting against America.
But you had texted me during it, like, it looks like they're rooting against America. What were some specific, like, if you recall, like things that he said that they refused to cheer for, that you're like, that's some pretty unobjectionable America First stuff. If you happen
it wasn't
to live
even.
here.
It started with me, and I'll be honest, I didn't make it all the way through. So I made it to where they kicked him out, and I was like, Jesus Christ!
Oh, you didn't make it very far at all.
No, I've got a thin fucking veneer of what I can put up with nowadays, and they, first of all, unprecedented. None of them shook his hand. None of them, not one Democrat shook his hand or even acknowledged him. And that just right there, just right off the rip. What's this about then? Because if it's not about making America work, then what are you doing there? What are you really sitting in that position for? You're not protecting anything, clearly, because we had already spent 4 years of you letting a guy without a brain run the country, and you were totally for it, and you lied to us the entire time. But now we have to forget all that. And now we have to feel bad for people that are losing their jobs because they work for the government, which is corrupt. I'm sorry. Oh, but you guys really cared on 2008 when everyone lost their homes and went bankrupt. You were all in for that. Like prayer chains and like holding hands and kumbaya. What about the people for Enron? Did you shed a tear? I bet you guys were inconsolable for weeks after everyone at Enron lost their job. That's we're dating ourselves a little bit, going a little bit far back. But again, it's okay. So you're all for the people. You're all for taking care of American people, which is what you keep saying on all your broadcasts. But you can't even clap for like, we're going to make America great again, or we are going to fix this economy. Nothing. You can't be brought to motion for a child with brain cancer. You can't even shake his fucking hand. Like even Biden shook his hand, didn't he? He's smiling. It's like his old friend was back for lunch. Like, but you guys, you stalwart, moral high ground pieces of shit. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Should have taken the first part out. I should have just said, you pieces of shit can't even feign like you want this country to succeed if it isn't under your rule in your jurisdiction.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's been said a couple times, so I guess for the final time, it's the high school stuff, right? You cannot, if you think you're in the in crowd, which again, even with a 31% approval rating overall for the entire party, they somehow think that they're still in the in crowd. You can't be seen fraternizing with the quote unquote out crowd. So there's that aspect, that high school aspect of it going on. But then the other aspect of it is, and when we've talked about this on the whole, Manichaean dilemma sort of thing, right? If you put everything in the context of light versus dark and the other side is dark, then you can never admit when the darkness is right, because then that's to agree with evil. And they've painted themselves into a corner by this, bombastic rhetoric for 8 years now, about him being literally Hitler. And so, yeah, of course, if Hitler rose from the dead and walked through that chamber, of course, I wouldn't expect anybody in there to shake his hand. And so since they put him on that level, they have to stick to that gun. And they have backed themselves into a corner, because what it looks like to the average American, just like David pointed out in real time when it happened, the optics are, it looks like they are actively rooting against America. Now, they'll get on their little scripted TikToks with 21 of their best buddies and tell you that they actually care about America and that's why they're standing up against him and blah, 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 blah. But again, if they didn't paint themselves into a corner by making him the absolute incarnation of evil, manifest here on earth, they would be able to say, okay, we disagree with him on 95% of what he has to say or do, but, we're happy about the kid with brain cancer, or we're happy that, maybe, marginally more money is going to stay here to help victims of natural disasters. And does Flint even have water yet? We're happy that those, American citizens are actually going to get some relief instead of sending it all overseas. That seems like a relatively unobjectionable position to take, no matter which side of the aisle you're on, but they can't bring themselves to do it because of their own rhetoric that said that agreeing with him is agreeing with evil. And so, they paint themselves into a lose-lose situation. That's why they have a 31% approval rating, and that's why it's only going to keep going down as long as they keep this up.
The weird thing is, if Kamala would have won and she would have trotted out one of the prisoners that got a sex change operation under the dime of the fucking California taxpayer, all those motherfuckers would have been up and cheering, whistling, howling, throwing things in the air. It's like, you do know that most of America wouldn't be cool with that, right? But you don't. That's why you're sitting on the outside. And again, I just wanted to mention one more point. If the reason that you're not standing up or clapping for President Trump was because he put an unelected official, i.e. Elon, in charge of going through government corruption and waste, fraud, and abuse. Dane, do you remember electing any of Biden's handlers?
I don't remember electing the entire federal bureaucracy.
Right. I don't remember electing Fauci. And he shut down the world.
Yeah.
I don't remember electing any of these fuckers, but we still had to deal with their mandates. But now they're just making things up like, oh, we've never had to do anything that an unelected official has had to say. I'm sorry, we just had 4 years straight of it. So again, you guys have to come back to reality. Oops, there goes gravity. Mom's spaghetti, all that shit. Okay, you need to be. You need, like I said, what episode was it that you need to make a huge apology, and it has to come with some sort of like action, like actionable, right?
All of them.
Like you guys have so fucking far to go. You have so far to go to even get close to us taking you seriously anymore.
Yeah,
because right now you just look like a bunch of. Well, you look at like what you are. You look like a bunch of pieces of shit that are willing to let this country go to hell in a handbasket as long as it makes you look good or pays you. But you've been doing that for years anyway. So you're just doing what we're just finally seeing you for what you are, it seems like.
Yeah. So it doesn't get any better around the world, not even going into this full on topic, but either yesterday or today. I don't know if you saw, David, the Serbian parliament, somebody threw some like legit smoke grenades in the middle of the parliament. Somebody went into cardiac arrest.
Democracy.
It's like, listen, if the people in our government, are going to be so, offensive in every single way possible, can they at least be entertaining like that? But no, they never are. It's like, we don't get any of the fun stuff. It's like,
or they always
we
say
get
like,
the very banal sort of, boring, despotism over here. At least we should, get some fireworks with it. No pun intended. But
I'll go with this stupid fucking shirt. Anyway, but again, my last point here is that they always say that the rest of the world is laughing at us because Trump is our president.
Yeah.
Like, you pull this shit, you think we're the only ones that saw that? The whole world saw you sitting down and not standing up. So it's like,
the whole world saw your stupid little paddles.
Who's really making us look like assholes? Because he's only there for 4 years. You've been up there for a good decade and maybe even 2.
Yeah.
So
the key takeaway from all this, folks, is just stop. Just
grow up.
Whatever modicum. No, not even from them. I'm talking about for the listeners, the viewers. The average person. Whatever sort of little modicum of respect you had for these people, I hope is gone, because, just like we always say, right? Politics is downstream of culture. A massive shift in the way human beings allow themselves to be governed comes right after they lose all remaining respect for the current regime, the way it's run. And, the hourglass ran out of sand a long time ago for having any respect for these people. It wasn't as open and obvious as it is today, but I hope that it's open and obvious enough now that all remaining respect for them and their, pretend authority is done. So now we can get down to the business of reorganizing this thing in a way that actually serves us. To the extent that a government is going to continue to exist, it needs to, have as its baseline function to make sure that it is doing, or it is maintaining, the standard of living for its people as much as reasonably possible, right? Not doing the opposite and cutting them down at every turn. So lose all respect that you may have still had for these people, and let's move forward with fixing it, in a way that doesn't that does a complete 180 from what we currently have now.
Well, I'll just leave it at this with a Lewis Black joke, is if you've ever been inspired by a politician, then you probably were inspired by your high school principal. And that's a disturbing thought. Yeah. Dane, where can they find this episode 235 of Weapons of Meme Destruction?
So you can find this episode at WMDpodcast.com/235. They can get the audio only on any podcast catcher. Just search Weapons of Meme Destruction. They can get the video on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, and X. While they're over at the website, WMDpodcast.com, you should check out the Support Our Work tab to figure out how you can support us financially. But also, while you're there, you can do all the free stuff. You can join the email list, which we highly encourage to always stay in contact with the show. But you can also just find all the different places that you can get our content, so you can like, subscribe, share, comment, turn on notifications. And, failing all of that, the lowest of low bars to meet in terms of helping grow the sane space, if you believe in our mission here, is to make the world a freer place by making it a saner place, is just tell your friends and family about us. Word of mouth, a recommendation is the highest recommendation possible, and we appreciate everybody who consumes our content, but also helps push it out to other people in the world. And with that, we do want to say, you're probably looking at the timer here thinking, guys, what's up? You're shortchanging us. This is a short episode. Well, we're not shortchanging you. We're giving you extra. Later this week on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, our new time, we are going to release another episode at that time. So make sure to join us then. At Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Today
it's 2 days after you're watching this.
Right, yeah.
So tune in, check us out for 236, and we'll see you then.
You got it. And until then, guys, stay safe. But more importantly, stay free.